Hey y'all, welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Colton, here with Brandon. Bit of a short episode this week, not as much to talk about. Weiss Schwarz week has come and gone. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Let's get right to it. The giveaways are done, the survey's done, the events are done. All we're left with now is the schedule that was announced for releases. Not a whole lot of surprises here, Brandon.
They announced dates for Fate and Kaguya being the same day, so looking forward to that in the end of June. July, we got the English exclusive announcement for 7 Deadly Sins. If you're a big fan of the series, you should be looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a good intro deck to a lot of people.
It makes sense as an English release. It's popular in the English-speaking world. It's going to sell. It's going to introduce people to the game. As far as Bushiroad's end of it is concerned, it makes a lot of sense. And it's also not off flavor for Weiss. It's not particularly interesting as a new title. It doesn't try to stretch the game in any specific way. But it fits the mold of a Weiss title decently well. And it's very English market friendly.
The other two announcements that were put out there were Slime 2 and Alicization 2, both of which we expected to come into English. Do not have dates on those yet. Alicization only just released, and Slime is releasing in JP later this month. So we still have a ways to go before those make their way to English, but definitely looking forward to those sequel sets as they come out.
Not a ton of surprises here on the schedule, honestly. The biggest surprise is really that Kaguya and Fate are going to be released on the same day. When that got announced, when we saw that, we thought that perhaps there would only be one English exclusive announced, that maybe the summer release wasn't going to happen. As it turns out, the only other date that they really gave us was July for 7 Deadly Sins. Alicization and Slime 2, we expected that we were going to get those announcements. We got them. We also got the Morphonica Bang Dream announcement, which, again, no surprises there. So because the entire schedule has basically been pushed forward a month, because Bushiroad has decided to combine Kaguya-sama and Heaven's Feel 2 into a single month, that means we now have a little bit more space on the back end of the calendar than we initially anticipated. 7 Deadly Sins is going to come out in July. Alicization 2 and Slime 2 are probably going to be August, September. October maybe for Morphonica, and now we're looking at November as our first open month. We don't have any announcements on Data Bullet. I still think that's probably the most likely announcement for then, followed by another English exclusive in December. But we didn't get as much information as I thought we were going to. I think we maybe came like one set short. I expected to hear a Data Bullet announcement. Whether or not Data Bullet gets released is still a little bit up for debate, I think. I'm leaning towards it will be out, and right now I'm leaning towards it will be out in November. But this is definitely less of a slam dunk than Alicization 2 or Slime 2 was.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, especially because Data Bullet was on the survey that they had players fill out at the end of Weiss Week. We're basically kind of trying to determine what level of interest is there for some of these upcoming sets. Some of the other sets on that list were also things like quintessential quintuplets, like some of the more recent JP releases, to see what kind of interest there was for some of these JP releases making their way to English.
There were also some older ones on there as well, like Is the Order a Rabbit was on that survey too. So some really interesting stuff on that survey. I don't know if they were using some of those as a control or if they're actually considering bringing Gochiusa to English, which I will buy a play set of every set. But anyway, schedule is out through probably October at this point. We'll see what happens with future releases, future announcements later this year. The other big thing that we did not get from Weiss Week that I think we were both expecting that we were going to get was some kind of announcement about Springfest. We got absolutely nothing on Springfest, and it's spring now, Brandon.
Well, almost. Technically, spring is in like 2 weeks.
Spring starts when the snow goes away.
I still have snow, so...
You live by the lake. That's not my problem. If you live in the Midwest, spring is basically just 2 weeks of dirt followed by summer. We don't really have, like, real spring the way a lot of the rest of the country does. So you just kind of take it when you can get it. Point is, Spring Fest is right around the corner, presumably, and we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, with that, I kind of expect now, based off of not getting information from Weiss Week, there's even a good possibility they won't even say anything until the middle of the next shop week. So, as late as June.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't use, like, the obvious time to talk about it means that either Springfest has been delayed into the summer months, or they're not sure what they want to do with it. And honestly, in the current time, it's difficult to make plans more than a couple of weeks ahead. So I couldn't really blame them. Maybe, and I know that Bushiroad already announced that Springfest would be online, but maybe they're hoping that if they push it back far enough, we can get far enough into a post-vaccine world where they can say, surprise, Springfest is actually going to be in person because we have deemed it safe enough. So, I don't know. Maybe there's still a lot that we don't know, and a lot that Bushiroad has to decide/announce, so we're just going to have to leave it at that and wait for more information. In the meantime, shop leagues are ongoing. Season 3, March, April. Season 4, May, June. They're going on right now at local shops with prizes and promos. Link in the description to the details about Shop League. But as of right now, yeah, we don't know what's going to happen with BSF 2021. So we'll see what Bushiroad announces in the coming months. In the meantime, here at the Clock Tower, it's March, which means it's time to start talking about Data Live. On Thursday, 5 cards, 5 minutes, talking about rares and double rares from the new Data Live set that drops on the 26th. Next week, Brandon's Data Live deck tech, followed by gameplay on that Thursday. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back with a longer Clock Talk, talking about some other stuff that we think y'all might find interesting. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, have a good one.
We'll see you then.